Hello, everyone. I'm Dijon,
And I'm Aiara.
and welcome to the Mustacast, the podcast about the art of storytelling and how it's used across different mediums. Make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see our channel grow, and to click notification bell so that you're notified when we post. As usual, free Palestine. Do whatever you can to support them. So, what media have you been interacting with lately?
Got a couple. I watched the first episode of Devil May Cry, but we'll probably get into that later. What else? I played Dream Barbecue, the game by Dolgy, the guy that made that like web series, the Anna web series, and that was really really good. What else? I've gotten back into playing my Switch a little bit. Been playing mostly like the Castlevania Advanced Collection, and I'm trying to get my DS fixed so I can play Tomodachi Life a little more because I've been missing it ever since the trailer dropped. But that's about it.
Cool. For me, Marvel Rivals Season 2 came out a few days ago, so I've been obsessively playing that, of course. But I'll go into more detail on that later. I'm still playing Assassin's Creed Shadows and having a good time. It's a huge open world RPG, so I'll be playing it on and off again for a while yet.
Mm.
South of Midnight has released, and I
Ooh.
started playing it last night, but I didn't get too far in, so I don't have much to say. It's apparently only
Mm.
around 12 hours long, so I'll probably beat it by next episode and go into depth then. For now, I can say that it's visually stunning and the story is great so far.
Nice, nice, nice.
And I finally played Bellatra since it's on Game Pass.
What'd you think?
And now I'm obsessed. It's so good. The theme is echoing in my head
It's a
like the
banger.
Green Goblin mask in season one or
Mhm.
Spider-Man one. Um, I feel like that one Akira meme where I'm just going, "Leave
Leave
me
me
alone."
alone. Yeah,
I'm
no,
just over there
totally.
cooking breakfast, and then it's in my head. I'm like, no, I cannot. I can't download this game on my phone. It would ruin my life.
Oh yeah,
But
it's ruined mine. It's insane.
I'm definitely gonna get it on my Switch when that comes out.
Also, the actual theme itself is on streaming platforms, so
Of
you can
course, of
get your
course.
fix even if you're not, yeah, physically playing the game.
But I'm not going to because I'll just hear it when I play the game.
Right, right, right.
I'm still watching Daredevil Born Again. And episode 7 was one of the best so far. Apparently,
Ooh.
episodes 1, 7, and 8 are the only episodes that move away from the plot that the show was originally supposed to have before there was a bunch of rewrites and reshoots after the outrage of them making so many weird changes. And it definitely shows. Episode 7 was great. And if you're
Ooh,
interested in Daredevil, you can start with this show. This season is only going to
bet,
be like 8 episodes long. So
bet.
starting a few years ago, every April Fool's Blind Wave would post a reaction to one episode of One Piece because it's way too
Mm.
long for them to react to. But this April 1st, they announced that they'll actually be consistent or constantly, um, or no, I was right the first time, consistently watching it every Saturday. So,
Ooh,
so in addition to Superman the Anime Series, I'll be rewatching One Piece alongside them.
nice.
Early One Piece is so good. I just have this big goofy smile on my face the whole time, reliving my youth. It's so good. I love One Piece. Is so good. I'm being reminded why I love One Piece so much. I feel like the where One Piece is right now, I'm not the biggest fan of it, and I forgot the joy that it could bring.
bet,
But now I'm being reminded. But speaking of
bet.
Superman, the latest episode they reacted to was one of the best in the second season. Sometimes it's hard to establish stakes in the Superman story, but this episode does it so well by putting the people around Superman in danger. And ultimately, one of them dies, and it's sad. The show is so good, and I don't understand why so many people hate on it. But moving on to animation, Lazarus debuted on Adult Swim last Saturday, and
Yeah.
on Max the following Sunday, and it was
Mm.
fun. Lazarus is being directed by Shinichiro Watanabe of Cowboy Bebop fame, and it
Mm.
is about an emergency task force that's assembled when a miracle cure is hijacked for purging populations. The action supervisor on the show is Chad Stahelski, who's a stuntman and
Mm.
director of the first John Wick movie and producer of the rest of them. So the action, which is animated by Mappa, is amazing in the show so far. There's a lot of
Ooh.
parkour in the first episode, and it kind of makes me want a Mirror's Edge animated series. And I just want more Mirror's Edge in
Mm.
general. Man, I miss Mirror's Edge. We need more parkour games. Uh,
We do.
there's one scene where a character jumps off a roof, and they reference John Woo's signature doves, and it's hilarious because it comes out of nowhere. Which, for those who don't know, John Woo is an action movie director, and he always has a flock of doves appear in slow motion in all of his movies at some point in the movie.
Mm.
And they did that in this show very randomly. And I'm like, I don't think John Woo is involved with this, or maybe he is, and I just don't know. It was so random. But yeah, it's fun so far, and I'll definitely be watching episode 2 later today. Uh,
Mm.
Coyote versus Acme movie saved by Ketchup Entertainment. This is coming from Etta Vlessing at Variety. Ketchup Entertainment has made it official by acquiring from Warner Bros. Pictures the worldwide rights to Coyote vs. Acme, which stars Will Forte and John Cena opposite an animated Wile E. Coyote as he takes legal action against the Acme Corporation for the countless faulty products that have hindered his relentless pursuit of the Roadrunner.
Mm.
Gareth West, CEO of Ketchup Entertainment, said in a statement on Monday, "We're thrilled to have made a deal with Warner Bros. Pictures to bring this film to audiences worldwide. Coyote vs. Acme is a perfect blend of nostalgia and modern storytelling, capturing the essence of the beloved Looney Tunes characters while introducing them to a new generation. We believe it will resonate with both longtime fans and newcomers alike." Ketchup has a history putting Looney Tunes movies in theaters. It distributed the day the Earth blew up. After Warner Bros. Discovery opted to shop the film around rather than release it itself. Yeah, this
Mm.
is exciting news. But
Yeah.
also, it goes to show what WB's weird game plan is going forward, rather than housing all of their IPs in one place and making Max, a more enticing entertainment deal. They'd
Mm.
rather shop their projects out and place them on other platforms and have other people produce them and release them in theaters, which is unfortunate. Uh, and
Yeah.
it's all done for the sake of money, of course. It's
It's
upsetting.
always the money.
But at least we're
Yeah.
getting Coyote vs. Acme. I love Roadrunner. I
Mm-hmm.
love Wile E. Coyotes. This will be great. I'm excited for this. So I sent you a trailer for Predator, Killer of Killers, directed
Mm.
by Dan Trachtenberg, the director of the previous Predator film, Prey. Three of the fiercest warriors in human history become prey to the ultimate killer of killers. This is what everyone wanted after Prey, but even better because it's animated. Prey sees the Predator enter America during the early 1700s, hunting down colonizers and Native Americans alike, and it takes a lone Comanche warrior to protect her tribe from the Predator. Uh, After seeing the Predator fight a warrior in the past, everyone, including
Mm.
myself, has wanted every Predator movie from here on out to take place in a different culture, and we're getting three in one movie. The three
Ooh.
warriors we see in this trailer are a Viking, a ninja, and a fighter pilot during seemingly one of the world wars. And the art style, of course, uses 3D models with 2D textures and effects like Spider Verse and Arcane, and it looks amazing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I initially thought that this was going to be an anthology series, but nope. It's a single movie, and it's premiering on Hulu on June 6th. I hope that it
Ooh.
does become a series, because I feel like I just feel like this story would fit that format better, of having every episode
Mm-hmm.
be, a different culture and predator.
Right.
Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah.
So, new Ghost in the Shell anime uh, is happening. And they revealed the main staff working on the project on the official Ghost in the Shell Twitter page, scheduled for 2026. Ghost in the Shell is getting a new anime based on the manga by Shiro Masamune, originally serialized in Young Magazine and published by Kodansha. It will be animated by Science Saru, who worked on Scott Pilgrim Takes Off and most recently Dan
Mm-hmm.
to Dan, which is getting a new season in a couple months. Um,
Yes.
it will be directed by Moko Chan, who directed Scott Pilgrim Takes Off. The script is being written by Injo To, an author and TV writer who has worked on Ghost in the Shell spin off novels. And the character design executive animation director is Shuhei Hanada, who worked on Little Witch Academia. I did not know that Ghost in the Shell was a manga first. I thought that it
Mm-hmm.
was an anime movie first. Just like years ago, I thought Akira was a movie first. But I feel like I discovered
Yeah.
that like a long ass time ago, though. But I'm just now
Right, right,
discovering
right.
that Ghost in the Shell was a manga first. I thought it was an anime movie first. Um, but yeah, I'm excited to see what an adaptation that's more faithful to the manga in both story, characterization, and art style looks like. Because
For
apparently,
sure.
uh, Major Kusanagi is different and a lot goofier in the manga as opposed to the anime, where she's a lot more self serious, which would be
Mm,
interesting to see that version of the character. And if the
for sure.
teaser image we were shown, drawn by Shuhei Hanada, is any indication, it will be another
Mm,
beautiful Science Saru project, which they have shot up in my rankings of anime studios after Scott Pilgrim and Dandadan. And
real, real,
I
real.
love Ghost in the Shell. I own the movie and the standalone complex anime physically on Blu-ray. So to say I'm excited is an understatement. I hope this is good. Which like I said, I have faith in Science Saru to do a great job. So we got a
Same, same,
trailer.
same.
Sorry.
No, I was just saying, same. I
Yeah.
agree.
So we got a trailer for Love, Death, and Robots Volume 4.
Mhm.
And it looks as good as it always does, in the sense that, we'll be getting a lot of beautiful animated shorts. But it still looks a little homogenous and, if not art style, mostly tone, which is, I feel like, overly grimdark most of the time and hyper realistic.
Mhm.
The
Mhm.
one that stood out to me the most is an episode that's very clearly directed by Robert Valley, who previously did two
Mhm.
episodes, one called Seam of Blue in season one, and another one called Ice in season two. He also worked as a character designer and storyboard artist on Tron Uprising, which can clearly be seen by the similarities in his personal art style and the art style he uses for those shorts, and the art style in Tron Uprising.
Mhm.
Uh, he worked alongside Alberto Mielgo on Tron Uprising, and Mielgo also worked on two episodes of Love, Death, and Robots. The Witness in season one and Jabaru in season three. Again, two of the best episodes in the show. The Witness is probably easily the best episode in the whole show. The Witness is incredible. If you don't watch
Mm.
anything from Love, Death, and Robots, watch The Witness. It is so
Got
good. Of
you.
course, it's an anthology series. You don't have to watch anything. If you see something that doesn't interest you, don't watch it. But watch The
Right.
Witness. It's so good. Um,
Got you.
and Mielgo has also worked on Spider Verse as a character designer. And the fact that these two incredible animators worked together on Tron Uprising is a large reason as to why it was so great. Hopefully, the new movie, which we'll talk about later, does really well and sparks a revival of Uprising. And these two can bring their talents back to the project. Everything they've learned since working on stuff like Spider Verse.
Mm, mm.
Love, Death, and Robots Volume 4 premieres May 15th on Netflix. Have you watched
Ooh.
Love, Death, and Robots at all?
Um, no,
You
but
should
it's
check it
been
out.
on my docket for a long time. I think I will
It's
get ready
better.
for volume four.
It's better than Secret Level. I'll tell you that much.
Ah!
Because same people worked on it, or the same like creative leads. Goddamn Secret Level. I'm so upset that
Very
it was so
disappointing.
disappointing. We got a trailer for Star Wars: Tales of the Underworld, which is a continuation of the Star Wars Tales anthology series, which previously had two seasons: Tales of the Jedi and Tales of the Empire. Tales of the Jedi focused on Ahsoka Tano and Count Dooku before he became a Sith, and Tales of the Empire focused on two lesser-known side characters, Morgan Elsbeth and Barriss Offee. Tales of the Underworld is focusing on two of my favorite characters, the former Sith Asajj Ventress and my favorite bounty hunter in Star Wars, Cad Bane. Both Clone
Ooh.
Wars characters. I love Asajj because she is what a lot of people call a gray Jedi, even though that term is an oxymoron because being a Jedi means that you've chosen a side. She's
Uh,
no longer a Sith, but she isn't a Jedi either, and just does what she personally thinks is right with her Force abilities instead of answering to some greater power or council. And I like that, and I want more
see.
stories like that. This is what I hoped the Acolyte would be, and that show was
Mm-hmm.
a bit disappointing in some areas, but not in others where like the action was incredible and the idea that they were
Right.
going for was cool. It's just the execution wasn't always great. Um, it's also being animated in the Clone Wars 3D art style, which I have so much love and nostalgia for. And
Oh
it's
yeah.
evolved over the years, and ever since the final season of Clone Wars, it's been perfected and looks beautiful. So I'm definitely excited.
Mm-hmm.
It premieres on Star Wars Day, May 4th, and these are fun to watch. The episodes are short, so if you want to check
Mm.
them out, they're fun. Did you ever finish Clone Wars?
No, it's been years since I've watched it. So many years.
I feel like you could probably just pick up at the last season and not be confused, honestly.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
So, the Minecraft movie shatters box office expectations with record-breaking $157 million in the box office. This is coming from Rebecca Rubin at Variety. A Minecraft movie leveled up at the box office, collecting a blockbuster 163 million in its opening weekend. It's not only the biggest domestic debut of the year, but the best in history for a video game adaptation. Warner Bros. And Legendary's PG fantasy comedy starring Jack Black and Jason Momoa was projected to take in 70 million to 80 million, with some bullish analysts suggesting a final number closer to 90 million. Thanks to pent up demand for family film, broad appeal, and goodwill toward the 2011 video game, however, Minecraft squashed expectations in the US and abroad. At the international box office, the tentpole added 150 million for a global start of 313 million. The film cost 150 million to produce before global marketing expenses. This does not surprise me, and I don't understand why so many people were betting on this movie's downfall.
Right.
I think that people forgot how popular Minecraft is, and the fact that it's
Especially with the youth.
yeah, and the fact that it's one of the highest selling games of all time that kids still play today. Kids born yesterday will be playing Minecraft tomorrow. This game is incredibly popular. The
Mm-hmm.
This movie was made for kids, and time again it has been proven that kids drive ticket sales since their parents or guardians will have to bring them, adding two additional adult price tickets.
Exactly.
I prefer the movie to be better than it sounds based on reviews.
Right.
Um, and according to critics at the very least. But if kids love the movie, which is a kids movie, then it sounds like
Mm.
they did their job. I
Exactly.
know there've been some crazy stuff happening at theaters during these movies, and that had like police called. Like I saw one
Yeah.
video where like people throwing popcorn everywhere, and I was like, okay, that's absolutely wild. I don't
Yeah.
know what happened to the world. Y'all don't get training at home? Your parents don't teach you how to behave. What's going on out there? And I'm sure some of them were adults too. Y'all got to get your lives together.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Moving on to Devil May Cry. I had a whole, I took all that time, I had to push back the time taking my notes for you to just watch one episode. I could have
Sorry.
I could have taking my notes in half. I should have asked you, because then I could have been like, you
You
know what,
should
I can do this later. Because I forgot to
Because
take
okay,
notes on Marvel Rivals, so I'm gonna be flying by the seat of my pants when we get to the video game section. And I talk about Marvel Rivals.
to in my defense, right? The only reason I watched only one episode of Devil May Cry is because this weekend I went out and did 23-year-old things, namely bar hopping. And so I came in, I watched the first episode drunk, and I'm like, I don't want to watch the rest of it because I'm not going to remember it for the podcast. And so not only did I like watch the first episode while drunk, I rewatched it this morning when I got up before I left for the farmer's market to make sure that if I had any, like, if I could talk about anything Devil May Cry related, I could at least talk about the first episode, you know?
You know what? That's fair. You got work, you got
Yeah.
stuff to do, and you have fun. I
Mm.
respect it.
I'll
But okay.
definitely watch the rest tonight, though.
But yeah,
The
it
first episode was
debuted
really
like 2 weeks ago on Netflix,
good.
and
Mm-hmm.
it's already been renewed for season 2.
Nice.
So how did you like that first episode?
I really liked that first episode. It was amazing. Like the animation is really, really good. Um, I really like the way that they've portrayed Dante because I don't really know much about the game, but I have seen like some of my friends are really, really into it, so I've seen them play it quite briefly, and I'm like, this seems accurate as far as I know. And he's like, he's fun, and very personable. I really am enjoying it so far. I'm kind of suspicious of the vice president. I feel like um I don't know. I have my theories. They're probably like off base completely, but I have my theories.
Yeah, and he's voiced by the late great Kevin Conroy.
Mm-hmm.
And he sounds so good. He's so good in
He
this. But
does.
we'll have to talk
He
more about
does.
that another time. But yeah, the first episode was great. Um, I believe at the very end of the first episode is when they arrest all of the demon hunters.
Yes, I believe so.
And in there, there's a little teaser um,
Ooh.
of like one of the people that they arrest is one of the main characters in Devil May Cry 2, which is everybody's least favorite
Ooh.
Devil May Cry. But
Oh.
um, yeah, it was cool to have a little teaser of her in there. But yeah, I don't want to say too much, so we'll save that for next time. But
Yeah.
just know I liked it. I think it's really good. I watched it all.
Good, good, good.
It's a great show.
Also, I saw the season 2 renewal, like, or yeah, the season 2 like confirmation post. And the way that like they have Dante on there, it makes it look like his pants are pulled up like all the way to his collarbone, and it was really throwing me off when I first saw it because I knew that wasn't true. But I'm like, I think got his pants up so high. I really had to like look at it for a long time to like work it out correctly in my head. It was insane.
Yeah, so I have to get rid of my couch, so I haven't been using my couch. I've just been sitting in
Mm-hmm.
my like office chair. So I watched this in my room. And in my room, I have just a very basic TV versus the big beautiful TV in my living room. Um, so I was watching it on that TV, but it's just a like an older flat screen kind, not that old, but old enough, and that it just doesn't do stuff it should. And at the end, when it gets to the credits part, even when I went in and changed Netflix settings, it wouldn't play the credits, and I was so mad
Insane.
because in anticipation for this, I've just been listening to Devil May Cry music because Devil May Cry's music is great, and I've been listening to
Mm-hmm.
Devil's Never Cry, which is Dante's main theme, and it's
Right.
usually a lot more rocky with a bit of a um churchy organ, and it's real fun. You should listen to it.
Mm-hmm.
And they
That
play a version of it in the end credits that's covered by a woman, it seems, and I've been looking for a film cover of that song forever, and then they just gave me an official version of it, and then they refused to let me hear the credits, so I had to watch it on my tablet because I was just like, "Bruh, I'm trying to hear this song. I've been wanting this for so long, and they just gave it to me on a
right.
silver platter, and I'm being denied by my TV."
Mm.
But yeah, that
It's
song's really
tragic.
good. Devil Never Cry.
It is.
It's a really good song.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, moving on to comics. Ultimate Wolverine #3. Wolverine versus Gambit and Kitty Pryde. The Winter Soldier leads a strike against two members of the opposition, Kitty Pryde and Gambit. But do the duo recognize the man behind the mask? Of course, for those of you who don't know or remember, Wolverine in the Ultimate Universe has been abducted by the Russian military and turned into the Winter Soldier. And he's fighting against his friends, his allies. And he doesn't know, but he might because Kitty Pryde might have jogged his memory at the end of this chapter.
Ooh.
Ultimate Spider-Man #15. The Ultimate Sandman attacks as the dust settles from the events of recent issues. Peter, MJ, and the kids take a family vacation, but nowhere is safe for Ultimate Spider-Man. So, after being kidnapped by Kraven and, spoiler alert, for issue #14, big spoiler, major spoiler, gigantic spoiler,
Ooh.
and watching Harry die in front of his eyes, Peter takes
Oh
his
wow.
family on the run and comes across the Sandman in the desert. Because his enemies know who he is, so he has to run away. So, Ultimate X-Men #10. Enter Viper. Viper enters the stage after a mass raid on the cult known as the Children of the Atom. What has the Makers Council been doing with the cult's mutants? And what of the mysterious figure they have been keeping prisoner? Hisako and her friends face a new world order as the raids leave mutants unleashed. So the main character in Ultimate X-Men is Armor, who I was first introduced to Armor, and I think she was introduced in general in Astonishing X-Men, like the early 2000s, written by a horrible person, but unfortunately an incredible comic.
Mm.
Which unfortunately is another comic here that we talk about this also written by a horrible person, but it's a good comic. It's
Mm.
by Joss Whedon, Astonishing X-Men, who's mostly known for his work on film and particularly The Avengers and Buffy the Vampire Slayer. But he,
Ooh.
not a good person. One of those big names that came out during the Me Too movement.
Mm. Thanks.
So if you don't want to read it because of that, I understand.
Yeah.
But in that comic is where Armor's introduced. I think she might have introduced a little bit earlier than that, but she's really cool, Armor. And she's getting more popular because Ultimate X-Men. So hopefully they add her to Marvel Rivals eventually. Her power is literally that she can make a suit of armor. If you are familiar with Susanoo from Naruto, it's basically that.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
So Daredevil number 15 and 16. Wrath of the Devil. For months, Matt Murdock and those close to him have been plagued by demonic entities bound to Matt's soul. Now one of those demons has bound itself to one of the people Matt cares about the most. And number 16, after literally tearing himself apart to escape from hell, Matt Murdock's soul has been fractured, each portion corrupted and twisted into the images of one of the 7 deadly sins. One by one, Matt has begun to conquer his demons and save his friends, but some demons aren't so easily exorcised, as Matt and one of his young wards are about to discover. Moving on to Sensational She-Hulk number 5 from 1989. Jennifer Thinks is an average Saturday morning watching cartoons until she's randomly transported into the television itself, featuring several epic cartoon parodies. So for those who don't know, She-Hulk was breaking the fourth wall at least a decade before Deadpool was, before he was even created. And she does it all over this comic, and it's very fun to watch. She does it in the show too, which people hated on simply because woman. Which is strange. You get a big, beautiful green woman, and you get upset. Like, come on now,
Right.
what's going on? What's wrong with this backwards world? But this is a comic written by a bad person, John Byrne, who is racist, I believe.
Ooh,
And I think he's like a MAGA dude, and like I don't know, he's weird. Unfortunately, incredible artist. But I'm reading. I don't even think he writes comics anymore, so you don't have to worry about reading anything new from him. But there are a lot of old comics written by him and drawn by him that are. Some of them are good, some of them not so much. His Superman comics are like notoriously known for like making him too American and like in the worst ways possible, and people hate that Superman run. But his She-Hulk run's pretty good. Wonder Woman number 18. After the birth of her daughter, Diana finally returns to the battlefield, ready to take down those who dared harm her Wonder Girls. To take down Sovereign's formidable general, Grail, she must call upon her friend turned foe, the Cheetah. So for the first time, I'm reading an issue of this comic, and no amount of context is able to make these panels look better. I think that even if I didn't learn what I learned recently, I'd still dislike a fair amount of this chapter. But yeah, it's not good. They have a whole line dedicated to saying that Superman had the Justice League rebuild the Washington Monument, which is weird as hell. He said something weird about like, I can't stand for this monument having been destroyed. It must be built back up, and it's like Superman would not give a damn. Especially since it was involved his very close friend Wonder Woman fighting the government for doing some bullshit. He would not care. At the end of the day, the story is, it seems like they're trying to have it be like the story is definitely Wonder Woman fighting against the patriarchy. That's the story. That's what the story is. And I do think that King is trying to preach for like a better America, not Trump's version of better, but one free from bigotry and inequality. But the story has first off dragged on way too long and featured too many moments of potentially unconscious sexism. But I desperately want to give him the benefit of the doubt, and I hope that he's not actively incorporating these small is a stretch. Some of them are big moments of sexism in an attempt to indoctrinate readers. But he worked for the CIA, so unfortunately the odds aren't in my optimistic favor. Like, after learning what I learned, I can't read this book the same. There's one issue left in this first volume, and then after that I probably won't be reading it anymore unless I hear something change and like he just starts writing different. But yeah, it's unfortunate. Moving on to some good Wonder Woman. Absolute Wonder Woman number 5. Oh, also I finished the essay, so I'm gonna send it to you. I'm gonna send it to you after this, so you can check it out. Give me some notes. Absolute Wonder Woman number 5. It's only been a few hours since Diana took up the mission of the missing Amazons and swore to protect Gateway City from an unspeakable cosmic horror. And her first battle may already be ending in defeat. unless her own homegrown tribe of Amazons steps into the breach beside her. So, in this issue, it is discovered that Wonder Woman's lasso doesn't just make people relive the pain they've inflicted on others, like a Ghost Rider's penance there, but it also allows her to transmogrify things, including herself, and she turns into Medusa to stop the enemy that she's fighting called the Tetracide by turning it into stone. But naturally, an ability that powerful needs downsides. So when she transforms into something, she loses herself and needs her friends to help bring her back. So Steve Trevor goes and puts on a blindfold and helps bring her back to herself.
That's sick.
Yeah, Absolute Wonder Woman is great. Again, you can read this comic. You can read any comic that starts with the number 1 without reading anything before it, but especially this one because it's the beginning of a new universe.
Got you.
So Absolute Green Lantern number 1. Without the core, without the ring, without the willpower, what's left is the Absolute Green Lantern. So the main Lantern in this comic is one of the newer ones, Joe Mullion. And in this universe, she's friends with Hal Jordan and John Stewart, but none of them are Green Lanterns yet. But after a giant Green Lantern symbol lands in the middle of their small town, Hal Jordan gets a dark power that consumes people, while Joe gets the Green Lantern's light. I have a feeling that Hal Jordan is going to be this universe's version of the Shade, who is a villain of the OG Green Lantern, Alan Scott. Moving on to Absolute Martian Manhunter. I wrote Absolute Martian Manhunter Lantern number 1. That was a typo. Moving on to Absolute Martian Manhunter number 1. Beyond Mars, beyond physical form, beyond human understanding, all that's left is the ultimate alien, the Absolute Martian Manhunter. This issue is weird, and it's hard to explain. But they're leaning into Martian Manhunter's civilian persona being an investigator. This time with the FBI. So I'm excited to see what kind of like pulpy mystery adventures they get up to. Instead of being a Martian, Martian Manhunter is like a fourth dimensional being or something like that. And he's like invading this dude's mind, and I don't know. We'll have to see where it goes. It's weird. And the last of the Absolute comics, Absolute Flash number 1. Without the mentor, without the family, without the Speed Force, what's left is the Absolute Scarlet Speedster. This is the one I've been most excited for because I love the Flash, especially Wally West. And Wally West is the main Flash in this. And I can't wait to see where this story goes. So Green Arrow numbers 19, 20, and 21. As Oliver Queen is forced to ask tough questions about the origins of the freshwater environmental disaster, the freshwater killer moves towards their next target. With time running out before another murder rocks the city, the Emerald Archer runs into surprising resistance to his investigation. Number 20, as Green Arrow comes face to face with the victims of the freshwater environmental disaster, the freshwater killer confronts the Emerald Archer. And in number 21, after his encounter with the freshwater killer, Oliver Queen has even more questions regarding the ecological disaster in Star City, which leads him deeper into his own history as the threat comes even closer to Oliver's home. So I made a mistake and read issue number 20 before number 19, thinking I'd already read it. And then I got into it, I was like, I feel like I'm missing something, but who cares? And then I read the whole thing, and then I went back and I was I did not read issue number 19. So then I read that, and then I read 21. And in issue number 20, Green Arrow was double cheeked up in the tightest suit I've ever seen him in. It was so wild. I was like, why y'all got this man slutted out like this?
Slutted out is insane.
Put some different pants on, brother. What's going on?
What comic is this? Hold on.
Green Arrow number 20 was it happened in number 20. It was wild, but while it was cool to get more of the Arrow family in the last arc, this arc has been a return to form, and it's amazing so far. It's getting back to the Robin Hood stealing from the rich and giving to the poor roots of Green Arrow. Stuff that people love Green Arrow for, and as he tries to solve a string of murders related to a town that was polluted by a big company during dumping chemicals. And
is this the 2023 run or?
No, I think I think it is technically a continuation of that, though it's a different writer.
Got you. Okay, I'll find it later for research purposes. JK.
I was gonna say I could just find it and screenshot it and send it to you.
Yes, please. That would be nice. Thank you.
I'm gonna do that right now. I remember. Okay, maybe it was less that he was cheeked up and more just that It's like a weirdly slutty costume that, like, if he didn't have tights on under it, it would be showing a lot.
Be crazy. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
But I'll send it to you. I took a screenshot.
Okay.
But
Thank you.
yeah, so New Gods number 2 and 3. Mr. Miracle has found himself at a crossroads. Oh, sorry, I had to check to make sure we were still recording for a second there.
No, you're good. You're good. You're good.
Mr. Miracle has found himself at a crossroads. Presented with the terrible choice by his brother Orion, he must decide between venturing out to save a child he has never met, a new god made manifest, or stay home to raise a child of his own. Meanwhile, an alien awakens, driven mad by an obsession with a deep god, and sets its sights on this same child. Several forces
Okay.
of good and evil converge on this child as his latent powers begin to reveal themselves to the world. And while these dramas play out on Earth, the forces of an intergalactic inquisition march ever closer. Deep in the cosmos, this is issue number 3. Deep in the cosmos, an intergalactic inquisition descends upon Apocalypse and New Genesis, carrying with it a sinister message: convert or be destroyed. Meanwhile, on Earth, Mr. Miracle and Big Barda, with their baby in tow, seek out the mysterious child spoken of in Metron's prophecy. Desperate to find him before Orion does, could this child, this new god, be the universe's savior, or could he be the reincarnation of the universe's greatest evil, aka Darkseid? Yeah, New Gods so far is reminding me of the Eternals run from a couple years back that was really good. I haven't finished it. I read like most of it though. And yeah, it's which makes sense because, like I've said before, the New Gods and the Eternals were both created by Jack Kirby.
Oh.
So they both tend to kind of have very similar stories. Moving on to TV and film. The Oscars will finally introduce a Best Stunts category. It will begin in 2027 with the 100th Oscars. I've got nothing more to say about this than it's about damn time. These people have deserved these awards for decades. You got anything to say before we move
on? No, just okay. Yay. That's good. I'm glad.
So, we got the announcement of Spider-Man Brand New Day, set to premiere in theaters July 31st, 2026. Tom Holland had this to say about the announcement. I know we left you with a massive cliffhanger at the end of No Way Home, so Spider-Man Brand New Day is a fresh start. It is exactly that. I really hope that this is a grounded street-level Spider-Man movie that isn't forced to tie in with Doomsday or Secret Wars. It does come out after Avengers Doomsday, which releases in May. So I hope, I want to hope that, it's more grounded. The movie is being directed by Destin Daniel Cretton, who also directed Shang-Chi. And casting calls, there have been casting calls for a middle-aged Asian man sent out for this movie, leading people to assume that Mr. Negative will be the villain in the upcoming film. And Stephen O. Young, who played Mr. Negative in the Spider-Man games on PlayStation, sent out a tweet expressing his interest in reprising the role for live action. And honestly, I feel like it's a no-brainer if they really are going to do a storyline with that character if he wants to do it, to bring him in, because he does great as the character already. And they scan his face and body for the character, so he looks just like he does in the game, in real life.
Right.
Yeah, Mr. Negative would be perfect for a street-level story, so I really hope that is the direction that they're going in. And let Zendaya be Mary Jane, for Christ's sake. Just say that she had a career change in college and decided to pursue acting, and then took up the stage name Mary Jane Watson, since they made her name Michelle Jones in this universe for some dumb reason. Some dumb and likely racist reason. The running and most likely theory is that they made Zendaya's MJ so different because they didn't want to face the backlash for having a black Mary Jane, which is stupid. At that point, just don't cast her and get a white girl instead.
Right. If it's such an issue.
But yeah, I hope this movie's, is a return to form. I would say good, but I feel like it's going to be good. It's just a matter of whether or not it'll be what I want specifically, which is a grounded street level Spider-Man movie.
Right.
But moving on to Tron Ares. We got a teaser trailer for the movie, and it looks interesting. It seems like the Tron world will be entering the real world, and to be honest, I need to be sold on that idea because I'm not the biggest fan of it. I feel like the fact that a very select amount of people knew about the world of Tron was kind of like a bit of its appeal for me. and making it
Mm-hmm.
known to the public, and as a result, getting the real world government involved, pushes the scope in a direction that I'm not really a big fan of. But I hope to be proven wrong because I want this to do
Yeah.
well so that we can get more Tron, specifically a Tron Uprising Season 3.
Mm.
So what did you think of the trailer?
I thought it was nice. I don't, like I said, I don't really know that much about Tron, but I'll probably check this out at the very least, or like get into the older ones, because like
Tron
I know
Legacy is
about
so good.
Tron. Yeah, like in a fringe kind of way. I've heard of it and I've seen its influence on like pop culture, but I've never actually sat down and watched any of them. But I've heard good things.
Yeah, Tron Legacy is great, and I need to watch the first Tron movie. I've never seen it, but I'll have to go back and check it out. I've been meaning to go
Mm.
back after I finished Uprising. I was gonna go back and watch the first movie and then watch Legacy, and now I got a good reason to since the third movie's coming out soon.
Yeah.
The soundtrack for Tron Ares is being done by Nine Inch Nails, which is the
Ooh.
perfect choice to follow up Daft Punk's incredible soundtrack. Oh my god, the music for Tron Legacy is so good. The end credits theme
Mm-hmm.
is so good. I listen to it all the time. I love that soundtrack, and yeah, these two are perfect for it. Their score for the challenges proves that they can do it for me. So
Ooh.
yeah, I'm excited. It premieres in theaters October 10th. So last but certainly not least, in TV and film, we got a special look at a scene from James Gunn's Superman, and it looks incredible. So I sent it to you. Did you check it out?
I did, and it does look
Yeah.
incredible.
You good?
Excuse me. Yeah,
So
it's so incredible that I started choking.
yeah. So the scene features Superman falling from the sky, injured, and calling Crypto to take him to the Fortress of Solitude to be healed by his robots. And to start from the beginning, having our first extended look at this movie being Superman injured is a genius move on Gunn's part to nix the idea that Superman is too OP to be interesting in the bud, because he's not. He gets hurt all the time. Also, we get Crypto, and he behaves like a normal dog, further injuring Superman out of excitement, thinking he wants to play, before finally understanding Superman's request and taking him the short distance to the Fortress of Solitude, what looks cool as hell. As
Mhm.
the crystal spires emerge from the ice, it's so dope. It looks so good. And this is what happens when you give CG artists time, because this movie finished filming a long time ago, and the rest of the time has been post production because he wanted to give them time to make it look good. Um, and yeah, and once he's inside, he's tended to by his Keelix droids, who lay him on a table and use a super magnifying glass to douse him with sun rays to heal him, the most comic book shit
Mm.
ever. And
Yeah,
to do so, the Fortress of Solitude can turn to face the sun, which is so cool. And
that's
just
sick.
the humor and tone of this is so perfect. And I'm so excited for this movie. But yeah, what did you think?
I'm definitely gonna go watch it. That was like cemented in from the jump. Like I'm definitely gonna go watch this. But I was definitely in that camp of like, oh, Superman can't really be all that interesting because blah 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 XYZ. But between like of all the Superman media that's been coming out recently has been banger like after banger. So I'm like maybe I should give him a second shot. You know.
Yeah, yeah. It comes out on July 11th. And yes, check out
Mm.
was All Star Superman, best Superman comic ever written. Um,
But
yeah, moving on to video games. Marathon. Just yesterday, we got the gameplay showcase for Halo and Destiny devs' newest game,
mm-hmm.
um, Marathon, releasing later this year on September 23rd. Marathon is a team based extraction shooter. You are a runner, a cybernetic mercenary scouring the reins of a lost colony for fortune and power. Team up in crews of 3 as you battle rival runner teams, and hostile security forces for weapons and upgrades. Survive, and everything you've scavenged is yours to keep for future runs on Tau Ceti 4. Or if you're brave enough, a journey to the derelict Marathon ship that hangs above. I like the art direction, but the gameplay loop
Yeah.
doesn't seem up my alley at all. You
Uh,
essentially drop in, collect as much loot as you can, either solo or in a team of up to 3, and you battle AI and another team of up to 3, and then you try to
hmm.
extract. So it's PvPvE. And according to people who've played it, the shooting feels great, which is to be expected from Bungie. But the narrative is
Right.
thin. However,
Oh.
I hear that this is Bungie's MO, and that both Destiny games started like this, but they eventually became,
Ah.
juggernauts in their respective genres, with stories rivaling, a Souls game or, like Elden Ring in complexity and lore. So hopefully, Marathon gets there as well. But the coolest thing to me was the 8-minute cinematic short that they released. Did you see it? Did you have the
I
time?
did.
Thank
I did have
God.
the time.
Thank the Lord because it's so
Twas
good.
twas gorgeous.
It's
Twas
so
gorgeous.
good. It's directed by Alberto Mielgo, who I was just talking about, who,
Uh,
like I said earlier, worked on Spider-Verse, Tron Uprising, and two of the best episodes of Love, Death, and Robots. And I could tell it was him almost immediately. I saw it and was like, yep, that's Alberto. Yep. Because it's just his style. It's so distinct. This isn't his first time working on a cinematic short for a video game. It might not even be a second. But I know that he made one for the last Watch Dogs game, Watch Dogs Legion, which was also really good. And I've watched some of his other shorts and stuff. He's so good. He's so good at his job. Yeah, even the credits were dope. Did you see the credits?
I did see the
The way that
credits.
they came onto the screen and like vertical, it was cool. Cause I watched it on my
Yeah.
phone, so I feel like it was even cooler on the phone because it fit the frame better. And I had to like turn my phone to the side. It was so cool. It was so cool. You guys should
Awesome.
watch it. Watch the cinematic short for Marathon. It's so good. If you don't
For sure.
care anything about this game, you'll still enjoy the short. It's just a beautiful piece of animation. It's like 9 minutes long. It doesn't feel 9 minutes long though when you watch it.
At
It feels
all.
shorter.
Not one bit.
My stomach is growling so much. Stop this. I hope our mic isn't
Did you
picking it
not
up.
eat?
Not yet. No, I didn't have time.
Oh.
I ate breakfast, but it's lunchtime now.
Yeah, fair. That's lunchtime even.
Yeah. Marvel Rivals Season 2, The Hellfire Gala. It released on April 11th, and introduced Emma Frost, this new character. And look, I know I made a New Year's resolution to not be horny on main, especially on a podcast. But look, look. It's not my fault this time, okay? Marvel Rivals knew what they were doing. Jiggle physics did not exist in this game at all until this character. I swear, it's insane that they were like we're gonna add jiggle physics for this character specifically, and like realistic thigh jiggle physics, which is insane. Also, this character is a skinny white woman everywhere else, but NetEase decided, nah, we're gonna make her thick for no reason. There's no precedent for this. She's skinny literally everywhere else. They just decided, you know what? We're going to make her as thick as possible. We're going to give her Chun-Li thighs. Insanity. I don't know why they did this, but I'm not complaining, okay? She's also fun to play. Let's get to that. She's very fun to play. I picked her up pretty easily. She has like a 3-star difficulty out of 5, but I didn't find her too difficult. I feel like the first 2 matches I was struggling, but after that third match, I got her down packed. Her main powers is she's telepathic. She can turn her skin into diamond, and that's why she's a tank. And her main attack is just like a beam of telepathic energy that she shoots at people in a straight line, and you have to aim it. It's not auto aim like characters like Cloak and Dagger and Scarlet Witch have a similar ability, but with them it auto aims. Hers doesn't auto aim. You actually have to aim it. And it ramps up damage after you hit them for a while and does like a damage multiplier. And she has a shield that she can make, like a psionic shield that is like a diamond shape that shoots out, and you can control how far it goes out by holding the button. And that's pretty cool and very useful. Just put out the shield and then run in and shoot people with your mental energy. And then she can turn into her diamond form, of course. And in her diamond form, her main ability goes from that psionic energy wave to physical punches, and then she can choke slam people. She has an ability where she choke slams people. You can imagine the internet went crazy over that, talking about somebody, I wish it was me. And I'm like, yes, but also calm down.
Yes, but also calm down is crazy.
But she also has a kick that pushes people away, and if they hit the wall, it does more damage. And I saw the funniest clip the other night you could choke people out of their ult sometimes, and
That's
a
crazy.
Scarlet Witch came in during her ult, which just it's called reality erasure, and it just deletes everybody within range. Um, she goes to do it, and then Emma Frost jumps into the air, dashes towards her, and just grabs her by the throat, slams her on her neck, and then kicks her to a wall, and she dies and slumps in the funniest way possible. It's hilarious.
That's
Um,
crazy.
yeah, Emma Frost is really fun. She's really good.
Sounds like
Her
it.
ult, which is being dubbed by a lot of people, Snow Bunny Mind Control,
Nobody mind control
is literally
crazy.
she people within the range that she's looking at will be mind controlled to start walking towards her and will take damage at the same time.
Oh
Um,
shit.
and
It
it's
really
really
is
cool.
nobody mind control.
And literally at the end of the trailer, she says that's White Queen mind control because in the comics she's called the White Queen, but it's a reference to
Oh.
chest, not the fact that she's white. Because there's also
Okay.
a black king, but he's not black.
I see.
And various characters like white for black knight, shit like that. So it's a chest thing,
Right,
not a
right,
race
right.
thing.
Okay. Not a race. Okay, good. Because I was like, that's crazy.
Yeah, but of course, season 2. So there's a bunch of new skins, and they're all dope. But
Mm.
I finally got the skin that I've been waiting for. The skin I've wanted the most. I got a classic X-Men Magic skin. The only problem
Ooh.
is it's blue and yellow. When
Oh.
Magic first joined the X-Men, she wore black and yellow. But
Mm.
they're going to be adding color variations and customization soon. And
Oh,
hopefully
dope.
that comes with a black and yellow variation of this suit and then perfection. Now, don't get me wrong. The blue and yellow looks incredible. It looks really good.
Mm.
But I
Mm.
need that black and yellow version to be more accurate.
I get you.
I need that. I just needed the classic New Mutants colors.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't. Why is every bike in the city driving down Charles Street right now? But yeah, it's real fun and bunch of buffs, bunch of nerfs. Maybe I'll get more into that next time. Like I said,
Okay.
I didn't. Maybe I won't. This is too much stuff. Maybe the ones I care about that I play. So Emma
Right.
Frost, she so they removed 2 team up abilities that I used a lot, unfortunately. But I got a lot of that last week before the update. I just played all day, every day, using all the team ups that were going to be gone. Which Magneto has a team up with Scarlet Witch, where he can do basically like Getsuga Tensho from Bleach, where he just makes a giant sword out of metal and then shoots energy out of it. That's gone, unfortunately.
Oh.
And now it's replaced with a team up with Emma Frost, where he can make a clone of himself that also shoots and does the same amount of damage, so you do double damage, and that's cool. And also tricks people, and I've been tricked several times where a Magneto will duplicate himself, and I'm not sure which is which. And I will attack the fake one will die, and then a real one will murder me. And then that team up also applies to Psylocke, who also can duplicate herself. Before, when they were having content creators not test it out, but stream it before it came out, they fixed this, but there was a bug where you can't duplicate and then do your ult and have your ult happen twice. But before they fixed it, she could, and her ult is already really strong, so
right.
she was doing double ults on people, and it was insane. But they fixed that.
Nice. Okay, good.
Another new team up. They got rid of Captain America's team up with Thor. Actually, they got rid of Thor's team up with, I think, Storm as well. So he doesn't have a team up with anybody, I think. He has a team up with Hela, which when Thor dies, before he respawns, the respawn timer is up. If Hela kills somebody, he comes back to life, which is really cool.
Sick.
And it applies to Loki as well. And yeah, he has a team up with Captain America where he would imbue Captain America with lightning, and then Captain America just freely throw a shield and hit people with electricity. It was really cool. But that's gone. And now Cap has a team up with Bucky, which I haven't really got to use much because I've just been focusing on Emma Frost, honestly. I've just been playing her all week since Friday. And yeah, it's pretty cool. I played a little bit of Bucky and used it a little bit, and it's fun. And then who else did I play that got a buff? Captain America does more damage in general, which is great because he can't die. Almost. Captain America is a character that's designed to stay on the card because it is really hard to kill Captain America because he puts that shield up, and now you have to deal with, he has 650 health, and then his shield has 400 health. So it's okay, you have to get through the shield, and then once you get through the shield, you have to get through 650 health, and God forbid there's a healer healing me too. You're not killing me. I will never die. And then he's also really fast. so he can easily escape, get a health pack, and come back and just annoy you some more. I love Captain America.
Sick.
I love just annoying people. He's my second most played character.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's all I have right now. I just can't remember off top, and I'll just be sitting here thinking for minutes. Um, but yeah, it's fun.
Good.
Wait, you have to see the costumes.
I do.
You
I
have
do.
to see.
You're right.
You know, when I say you have to see the costumes, I'm saying you have to see Emma Frost, and you have to see her alternate costume. It's insane. And granted, in the comics, she has always been that character. She's been the like femme fatale character. You
Oh my
see,
goodness.
it's ridiculous. I have no regrets.
Oh, so you have it. I see.
No, I
It's
don't.
no
I haven't
mind
bought it. No,
control
no, no,
got
no,
you
no,
acting
no, no, no,
crazy.
no, no.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
Okay, good.
I have no regrets about what I've said today. I haven't bought the costume yet. I'm gonna wait. Like, I'm not gonna buy it. I'm gonna get the coins in game, and then I'm gonna get it. I'm not gonna spend money on it. Because it's not gonna be that hard to grind the coins to get it. But yeah, I'm gonna get it eventually. But right now, I'm just enjoying the basic costume. But yeah, that's words cannot describe just the insanity. But PSA, guys who play games, stop being weird. You're allowed to find a character attractive. Okay, you see, I'm right here with Aiara, non-binary. We're just discussing beautiful, very beautiful women. Just that would just add to this game in a very respectful manner. She's fun to play. She looks good. Everybody's happy. Stop being weird about it. That's the problem. You always, you guys, you always take it too far. Women don't care that you find them attractive. They don't care if you openly express finding them attractive. It's when you go overboard and you get weird and creepy with it that it becomes a problem. You're allowed to find them attractive. No one's telling you can't do that. Stop thinking that they're saying that. No one's saying that. They're asking you very politely to not be a weirdo. Okay? Stop being weird.
Hard.
It's not that hard. Stop doing the weird glitches in the game where you make Iron Man hump the air and going towards female characters and doing that. They don't like it. It makes them uncomfortable. Stop this. Even when I'm playing Emma Frost and people do it to me, I don't like it. It makes me uncomfortable. Stop it. I just want to play the game and have fun. Stop being creepy. Okay? You're allowed to make memes and jokes about how sexy the characters are. No one's stopping you. Just pay attention to what you're saying and how you're saying it and how you're doing it. Okay? And listen to women first and foremost about what they're saying about this stuff, about the over-sexualization, okay? Now, some people, I'm not getting into that because it's honestly not a conversation worth having, I think, at the moment. It'll just muddle my message. I'll tell you after we're done recording.
Okay.
But yeah, like I said, Marvel Rose, Season 2, great. I'll definitely be talking about it way more over the next few weeks as I play it and, new stuff is added. Ultron is going to be the second character. I'm excited for Ultron. He'll be a healer that can fly. So that'll be fun. But last but certainly not least, we're going to talk about some Nintendo Switch 2 news. It's been 2 weeks since that happened, which is wild. Yep. Time flies. How has it been 2 weeks?
I know.
So the day of the announcement of the Switch 2, tons of gaming and tech journalists got hands-on. And recently, a couple days ago, there was another event in LA. The first one was in New York. Also, a couple of days after the announcement of the Switch 2, there were Nintendo Treehouses on Nintendo's various platforms that went into more depth about several of the Switch's new games and features. Plus, there has been tons of other news regarding pricing that we'll get into at the end. Starting with, what started it all, Mario Kart World. We saw a first look at Mario Kart World. But we will, of course, see more at the April 17th Mario Kart Direct, so we'll have even more to say about that in the next episode. And we can, did you watch any of the additional stuff regarding the Switch? I assume you saw at least some of it.
Yeah, I watched the Direct and a couple other things, although I don't rightly remember exactly what I saw and what I didn't, I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, so... Yeah, Mario Kart World, they just showed more of it, and it looks cool. Open world, Forza style. Yeah, they just showed more of the game. They showed some actual in-depth races, and it looks cool. It looks fun. I'm excited to play it. Hopefully, I'm able to get the bundle and don't have to play $80, which we'll talk about later. But yeah, I'm excited to check this out. It'll probably be the first game I play. But yeah, so the graphics are on display because I feel like there's even more detail in the denim of Mario and Luigi's overalls. And something that's
Yeah.
different that I don't think they did before is that Wario and Waluigi aren't wearing denim overalls. They're wearing leather overalls. So they have
Really?
even more of a distinction between those four characters with Mario and Waluigi wearing leather, whereas Mario and Luigi wear denim, which is cool. But now you no longer use or excuse me, you don't select your cart's individual parts. You just have to choose a cart, and they all have their own stats.
Mm.
And yeah, that's all I have for Mario Kart World. You know, we'll be getting a lot more information in the coming weeks. Next week specifically for us, and then we'll talk about the week after that. Um, Donkey Kong Bonanza. So we saw the opening segment of Donkey Kong Bonanza and a segment a bit further into the game, and it looks amazing. This is easily my most anticipated Switch 2 game. Unfortunately, it comes out a month after. I wish it came out the day of, but it doesn't. But which is good because there are other
Mm-mm.
games to play. Um, Even if a new Zelda were shown, I think that this would still be my most anticipated. I love the art style. And I said it
Yeah,
before,
it's really nice.
but I need a Hulk game like this. I could see Lego making an incredible, no pun intended, or pun intended, Hulk game in this style. Um, so in the gameplay, we saw that you can pull chunks from the earth, and that each material has different properties, like mud being sticky and some earth being harder than others, requiring you to mash the button to pull out a chunk. And you could throw it, and depending on what you throw it at, whether it's an enemy or a surface, the hardness of that material would determine how much damage it does or what it does in general. Like I said, mud is sticky, you throw it, it sticks to stuff. Also, you could
Mm-mm.
surf on chunks that you pull up, and it will slowly whittle away as you do, which is cool. And the
Yeah,
the game features a 3D map that shows the destruction you cause in real time, which is really cool.
that
And
is really neat.
it also seems that you will slowly be hitting deeper and deeper into the planet across the course of the game, and that's how the levels are divided. One of the
Ooh.
levels show that one of the levels show that you're under the ocean's floor, but it's not filled with water somehow. So it's like
Huh.
it's a hollow Earth. Uh,
Hmm.
so yeah, it looks cool, but some people don't like this new art style and direction for Donkey Kong, and I get where they're coming from. But I feel like if we want Donkey Kong to thrive, we have to be open to Nintendo experimenting and trying new things like they do with Mario. I think that
Right.
it's understandable and not surprising, but also at the same time really weird that people are so resistant to Donkey Kong doing anything different.
Yeah.
It's weird. Like people are so mad. It's like how dare they don't just do the same thing Rare did like over 20 years ago? Because that was the last time we had a 3D Donkey Kong game. We've only had 2D Donkey Kong games since. So like, I'm sorry, but this is a Nintendo game, like first and foremost, and of course they're gonna want to put their own stamp on their character that they've had somebody else put their stamp on for decades.
Right.
So like, I don't know. I get where they're coming from. At the same time, it's like let them cook.
Let them do it. Yeah.
But yeah, you got any other thoughts on Donkey Kong?
No, I'm just excited to play it. It looks really, really fun.
Yeah. So next we saw Metroid Prime 4 Beyond running at 1080p with a smooth 120 frames per second, which I still can't believe. 120 frames, that's insane. And yeah, it looks good. A lot of people who've played it are comparing it to Halo 4, which is my
Mm.
favorite Halo and Halo I played the most. So that has me
Ooh.
excited. Um, and a lot of people have got a chance to play it in mouse mode. And apparently, switching to mouse mode is as simple as placing the Joy-Con 2 ion sensor down on the surface and sliding it around to activate it. And you can easily switch back by lifting it up. It's just that simple. You just put it down,
Sick.
automatically mouse mode, lift it up, automatically back into Joy-Con mode. That's cool. Um, and yeah, the HUD in the game is just really cool, and it is definitely Halo like. And I think Metroid Prime after Halo came out have I think yeah no I'm tripping. It came out I'm the game it came out on GameCube. GameCube came out same year as Xbox. Xbox released
Yep.
with Halo. So I think yeah Metroid Prime has always been Halo inspired. Assuming it didn't come out that same year of
Right.
2000 when Halo came out. It was probably always Halo inspired, and at the very least, the later games became Halo inspired, and you can definitely see it in the HUD, especially. Which Halo also has the kind of like the UI of the helmet within the HUD, which is really cool. So yeah,
Mm-hmm,
that
mm-hmm.
definitely has me really excited with this game. So I'm not a fan of the fact that you have to lock on to shoot things, and I want there to be an option to free aim. But I have to get my hands on it to see if it's an option that's truly necessary or not. So next we got an in-depth look at the Switch 2 editions of Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild, and they look breathtaking.
Yeah.
Um, it's been revealed that not only can you share auto build schematics, but also weapons and items to your friends using the Zelda Notes section on the Nintendo app.
Ooh.
Zelda Notes will also feature new voice memories for both games, where you'll get new lore from Zelda and other characters at spots on the map via audio logs playing from your phone. Um, and Zelda has also basically added a trophy system via Zelda Notes with the ability to win medals based on milestones that you reach in the game, and you compare your stats with others. Which I think that this might
Ooh.
be them testing out the idea of trophies for Nintendo games. Um, the upgrade price has been revealed for Switch 2 editions, and thank
Mm.
God it's only $10. It could
Okay, yeah, that's
it
good.
because I think everybody was like, if I want to, which I haven't done because I don't care to, upgrade Ghost of Tsushima from the PS4 version that I originally played to the PS5 version, it would cost $10. And I'm like, okay, that's how much that costs for most games. There was a fear that Nintendo was going to make it $20. There was a real fear that that was going to happen, and thank God they did. It is $10 upgrade. And I believe they're going to be $70 individually, digitally and physically. Which it was a rumor that physical games are going to cost more. That's not true. They're going to cost the exact same. So Mario Kart, $80 physical and digital. It's not $90 physical like some rumor said. Back when we were talking about it 2 weeks ago. But yeah, $10. Thank God. But you know what I discovered? The
Mm.
Nintendo Switch Tour game costs $5. Why, Nintendo?
Like, that's stupid.
Nobody wants to pay $5 for that. Okay, Balatro costs $9.
Right.
What's going on, Nintendo?
Mm.
Balatro costs $9. This game should not cost $5. If anything, it should be
Exactly.
99 cents. If you're gonna charge somebody for this game, it should be like $1 or
Yeah.
$2. It should not be $5. Get out of here. I'm not buying that shit.
Right. I'll figure it out.
Yeah, but just some before we get to the price stuff in detail. I got some miscellaneous news from various news outlets. So the battery life is supposedly way worse. Not way
Oh.
worse, but it's worse. Um, but the Gen 1 Switch battery life was also ass. So
Yeah.
they're gonna probably, like they did with the original Switch, very quietly update it and release a new model with a better battery life. You can switch, you can, sell your old Switch or give it to a family member or something and get a new one if you can afford to do that. Otherwise, you'll probably sell it and buy a new one.
Yeah.
But yeah, after the Switch 2 is in the public's hands for a while, and they get some research in on how much power draw certain games have and things like that, and experiment with the tech. We're gonna get that upgrade battery eventually.
Right.
So Cyberpunk 2077 runs at 40 frames per second in performance mode while docked, which is
Hmm.
like oof, but also the fact that it runs period. It's
Right.
kind of crazy. And like yeah, it's a miracle that it runs at all. And people, who might have been interested in that game, watched Cyberpunk. What's that show called? Edge Runners on Netflix, but didn't have
Hmm.
access to the game because maybe they have a Switch and they didn't have a PlayStation, Xbox, or PC, so they can play it. Now you can. So
And it's funny because I tried to play Cyberpunk on my computer, like my computer made for video games. It crashed my computer and like it messed up my external hard drive.
oh
It
god,
was I was like,
when was this?
yeah, this was yesterday.
What?
I know.
That's a PC problem right there. Because
So I was gonna say, so now I'm scared of it. But so I'll probably just play it on Switch.
yeah, you just got to play that game on console where it works because I feel like there's too many variables on PC.
Nefarious as shit. I had never had anything like that happen to me before. And the thing was, like, it messed up my external hard drive, but then when I reset my computer, it was fine. I was like, that's
That's
scary.
crazy.
You
That's
you
horrifying.
have to
It was
give
a
me leave. I
it
have
was a
no
real
help.
life cyberware hack.
No, for real.
It was somebody in the world of cyberpunk trying to hack you.
Right.
But Last in the just various miscellaneous news, Yakuza 0 Director's Cut apparently does
Mhm.
not run well, despite the
Oh,
remakes of the first game running well on the first Switch. That's
yeah,
unfortunate for people who like, Yakuza.
yeah.
But moving on to the cost. So, Nintendo Switch 2 pre orders were delayed in the US and Canada due to a raise in tariffs for Vietnam. Nintendo moved production from China to Vietnam to dodge Trump's tariffs, but now his tariffs will affect all countries, so pre-orders in the U.S. are being delayed. Tariffs in Vietnam are 50%. So if we add that 50% to the current price of the Switch 2, it could be upwards to $675.
Oh my
The Verge
god.
says when the Switch 2 launches on June 5th, it will cost $450. Applying some back of the napkin math, if we treat the new tariffs as averaging out around 40%, that equates to an extra $180, leaving a possible final price of $630. Applying that same logic to games, with Mario Kart World already set to cost $79.99, and you get a final price of $110. Use the worst case rate, Cambodia's 49% tariff, and the numbers jump to 670 and 120. The actual prices should be lower than that. Tariffs are generally calculated based on a product's declared value at import, not its final retail price. We don't know the Switch 2's declared value for certain, but the Financial Times reports that shipments for Vietnam listed it at $338. If we apply the 40%, 40 if we apply the 40% to that, and then add back in the 112 difference between it and the current retail price, we get a slightly better final price of $585. That still doesn't feel like a
Yeah.
bargain though, but it would be better. And so, like, yeah, of course, they're not going to just blatantly go, okay, 50 tariffs, we're going to add 50%. Now it's $670. No, they're not going to do that.
I sure hope not.
It's probably going to be $500 or $550, which is still a lot,
A lot of
but it's
money.
would be better than the alternative.
Yeah.
But yeah, it would suck if that happens. But the thing is, I don't think it will because there's some good news out there. Okay, um, this in general just it's terrifying and threatens to collapse the global economy and affect more than just gaming. And it's just not easy to figure out what us average folk can do about it other than wait and listen. Um,
Hmm.
One thing that we should keep in mind is that this is not Nintendo's fault.
Yeah.
The keep politics out of my games crowd is attempting to shift blame to Nintendo when it's politics that's forcing this decision, not Nintendo. But not all is lost. Um, if there's anything we can count on, it's for greedy rich people to be greedy and rich and not want to pay out the wazoo for imported products due to this momentarily, it's not momentarily, I don't know why I wrote that, monumentally stupid decision by Trump. Um, if God is real, the 1% will lead on Trump to cut this shit out because
Yeah.
it affects them too. But there's more good news. Let me open my other laptop to read this article. So, Nintendo Switch 2 US price is unlikely to rise if Trump tariffs remain at 10%, analyst says. So, this is coming from Video Games Chronicle, written by Chris Scullion. Last week, Trump introduced a blanket 10% tariff on all imports with countries like China, Vietnam, and Japan, which Trump calls among the worst offenders, aka racism, getting larger tariffs of 54%, 46%, and 24%, respectively. Since most of
Mm.
Nintendo's imports in the US come from Vietnam and Cambodia, Trump's decision to apply 46% tariffs on Vietnam could potentially have an effect on the price of Nintendo hardware, most notably the upcoming Switch 2. As a result, last week Nintendo said it was delaying Switch 2 pre orders. However, while Trump has since increased China's tariffs to up to 125%, Jesus Christ, he has decided to pause all other tariff hikes for 90 days, meaning his 10% tariffs applies to all other affected countries, including Vietnam. According to a new
Mm.
report at Bloomberg, Trump's decision to pause the hike means it's likely that Nintendo will keep the US Switch 2 price at $450 at least until the 46% tariff kicks in. Speaking to the publication, Bernstein analyst Robert Zhu said, if the tariff stays at 10%, Nintendo probably keeps pricing at $450 and just takes the hit on margin. At 46% Vietnam tariffs, I expect them to raise by $50 to $100, like we just said, either to $500 or to $550. The
Right.
report states that Hoseidon Corp, a Vietnam assembler, which is one of the three main Switch 2 assemblers, has been shipping all of its stock to US since January, as opposed to between 11 and 60% over the course of the previous 12 months, meaning they might have already stockpiled the US with Switches
Ooh.
before the tariffs went into place. So at least when it first comes out, it might still be $450. So there's hope. There's hope.
Yeah.
And I want to hope that this is all going to work out. At the very least, this can't last because it affects the people who affect Trump, which are other rich people in power. So the reality is this just can't stand because of that, because it's affecting the people who unfortunately have the power and sway in this situation.
Yeah.
So at the very least, we can count on that. So,
Yep.
Hopefully that results in us not having to pay $550 for this console.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
And then $80 for Mario Kart. Which, speaking on that, there's a chance that they're doing this because Mario Kart is one of the best-selling games of all time. And they know that people are going to just buy this game no matter what, even if it's $80, and they could get people to pay $80 for this, and that this won't become like the regular price for Nintendo games. Even a new Mario game probably won't be $80, but this one it might stay this way, but there's also the potentiality that it doesn't stay this way. That once more games start coming out, they do not get back down to 70, and that becomes the permanent price. You want to hope. So, we'll have to wait and see. Hopefully this all works out.
Yeah.
But, I forget the quote exactly, but I was watching a podcast called The Downside with a comedian named Jamako, I think Moresi, and he had Brennan Lee Mulligan, who's works for Dropout. He hosts Dimension 20, their D&D show, and he talked about, like, he's a huge activist, and he talked about hope, right? Hope and despair. He said that the time now isn't for hope or despair, because you don't want to despair, because that just sucks and you can't get anything done that way. But also for some people, hope is just waiting for someone else and hoping for someone else to come in and fix things. And it's not time for either of those things. Of course, I view hope differently. For me, hope isn't waiting for someone to come help. It's hoping that someone will come and help me help everyone else. Like I'm gonna put in the work, and I want to hope that other people also put in the work, and that all together we put in the work to make change. But I also 100% see where he's coming from, because for a lot of people, hope is just hoping someone else will take the problem away from them, and that's not going to happen. You got to put the work in.
No.
We got to put the work in. We got to prevent this stuff from happening. We got to call our senators. We got to do what needs to be done. I've called the senator for the first time last week, for some stuff revolving around immigration laws, and you just got to put the work in. You got to do what you got to do. Some of it's small. And if enough people do a small thing, it stacks up.
Exactly.
So, just, do what you can to make the world a better place. And that's all I got. If you don't have anything else regarding Nintendo or the world.
That's all I've got.
Yeah. So, as usual, I'm Dijon. You can find my ads above me. Aiara's ad above them. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel if you want to see more storytelling content. And to click the notification bell so that you're notified when we post. Peace. I added a T at the end of that. Peace. You're not going to say see you?
See ya. I didn't realize.
Okay.